The special relationship between the Davidson-Gerson-Wesman-Saulson family and the Jewish news can be traced back almost 100 years. In 1920, future Jewish News founder Philip Slomovitz was actively involved with Fanny Wetsman and Sarah Davidson in reconstituting the Detroit district of the Zionist Organization of America. We know this because it was front page news in the Detroit Jewish Chronicle.
Phil Slomovitz and my family were Zionists from the word go. I can still hear my grandfather saying, and it's long before that there was Israel, the Jewish people have to have a homeland, have to. They were together in a lot of things that they were trying to do to bring Zionism to this community. They were founding Hadassah in those days. They were always had things that bonded them to Israel. And so that, I think, was one of the real reasons they were so close. Henrietta Zob, who was the founder of Hadassah, and she came to Detroit to found some chapters. And she stayed with my grandparents, who always had people staying with them if somebody needed a place to stay. And at that point, they founded the Detroit chapter of Hadassah, which of course was the Zionist organization. And so my mother was my mother was called Sal Davidson, her name was Sarah, but nobody called her anything but Sal. And she was one of the early presidents. And as a child growing up, they had a lot of meetings, a lot of them in our house. And so I was right there to listen in and hear things about Hadassah and Israel and Palestine and all of that, which I was very lucky.
In the ensuing years and decades, the Davidson-Gerson-Wesman-Saulson names appeared in the Jewish Chronicle and the Jewish News literally thousands of times, and almost always associated with an organization, event, activity, or initiative that bettered the community. When Time magazine founder Henry Luce dubbed the 20th century the American century, in hindsight, one can also conclude it was the Detroit century and the Detroit Jewish community's century. The Davidson family, spanning the 20th century and now beyond, has been exemplars of the multi-generational families from our Jewish community who made and continue to make Detroit one of America's most admired and influential Jewish communities. When the case was made to the William Davidson Foundation about the significance of the Jewish News Foundation's digital archive, it embraced this unique and invaluable educational resource. The William Davidson Foundation provided a generous endowment that assures it will be protected, enhanced, and expanded while remaining free of charge for all. And with the just announced relationship with the University of Michigan, our story, your story, will be available and accessible in perpetuity. Thank you to the Davidson-Gerson-Wesman-Saulson family.